Welcome to the Brad and Taylor Show. Today we have Alex Marowsky.
You're listening to the Brad and Taylor Show, a podcast that inspires entrepreneurs to pursue their passions. We're sitting down with some of the best to learn how they got started and some lessons they learned along the way.
How's it going, Alex?
Good. How are you guys?
We're good.
We're doing
Thanks for
good.
being on today.
Yeah, awesome. So tell us a little bit about what you do.
So I'm a realtor with Social House Real Estate Group, and I'm also a photographer with a company called 149 Photos.
Oh, nice.
And I run a small real estate company where I'm the CFO of a small company called it's called MBM Purple Parrots,
Nice.
named after Legends of the Hidden Temple team name.
Nice. So when you were, let's back it up a little bit. When you were little, did you know you were going to be an agent?
Oh goodness, no. When I was really young, my expectation was to either be an actor or an animator.
Oh, wow. So how'd you get from doing that to what you're doing now?
Well, initially I'd gone to school for animation, and I was going to school for like kind of graphic design and 3D animation.
Mm-hmm.
But once I got, and actually you guys had just interviewed somebody who went to Full Sail, who was pretty interesting, and I was listening to them.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, like if you kind of get into the graphic animation, but like my dream would have been to go work at Pixar and be like on one of those, like a large scale animation. But you start to realize that you have to be super driven. You have to almost exclusively lean on your portfolio. So it really doesn't matter what school you went to in a lot of cases, unless you're just divinely networking. So when you look at the grand scheme of things, it was going to be to the point where I'd have to obsess over it, where it would lose its intrigue as a hobby and become too much of like a forced job. And that's something that as I've gotten older, I've learned I can't force. You know, you have to like what you do.
Yeah, for sure. So when did you decide you were going to be an agent? How did that come across?
That actually happened very, very recently. I'd been involved in real estate investing for probably 3 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And it all kind of started when I inherited a home and I lost a parent, and it wound up turning into like a very successful rental on the side.
Mm-hmm.
And we decided we want to rinse and repeat the idea.
Yeah.
So a couple of years ago, we started hanging out with a friend of ours who was a realtor, and she helped me and two of my friends buy our first investment property. And then unfortunately, she got out of the real estate game for other reasons. So there was a little void, and I had just resigned from I had a corporate sales job from a company called Denso, and I was managing a Toyota accounts. And I just got so tired of sitting in a cubicle all day. I resigned literally, it was January 24th of 2020. So a month and a half before the apocalypse broke out. And you couldn't have picked a mathematically worse time to jump ship on your own accord. But thankfully, I never burned bridges. Yep. And I had a lot of friends, and eventually I was sitting here with all this time, and I was like, well, why not? And I was doing the photography a little bit on the side, so I was just moderately busy. It was kind of like my sabbatical almost. And I just put two and two together. I'm like, well, I love real estate. I already have a few homes. I'm interested in this type of sales, and I have a lot of friends looking for homes. So in November of 2020, I started taking my real estate classes. I finished them all basically beginning of January. Took my test. I was very fortunate. I knocked it out in the first try. And
Nice.
I was set up mid-January with a license without a broker. And then I happened to fall into Eric and Yaz's lap and got hooked up with a Social House towards the end of January. And then I lucked out and I actually got my first sale already happened. It's closing this Wednesday on the 31st.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Congrats. That's pretty good. So tell us about that first transaction, since you said it's, how's that been going for you?
It's actually been going quite well. I know from listening to your guys' interviews, it seems kind of par for the course for the first transaction to be trepidous, to say the least. But
it's a learning
this
curve.
one, it really is, because there's so many people, and you just have to synthesize everything at one point, and that's where it gets difficult. Like it's finding the people is really difficult. But when you haven't gone through the process, like there's an old boxing line that I love. It's called line, speed, beauty. You get the line down, so you're doing the process proper. You get the speed down so you can do the process quickly, and then it becomes beautiful once you have the experience and the motor memory to complete every transaction simply. The idea being, it's kind of sticky when you have to line up the buying lender, and I have to line up like my selling person's holding the mortgage, and then the buyers and the sellers have to be on agreement, and then our title company has to be in agreement, and we have to, kind of set everything up at a certain point. And it's intimidating when you're first going through the process, but with a strong company like Social House, Eric and Yaz did such a great job paving the way so that you're following a process and you can get that line down so the speed isn't so difficult. And thankfully, it's going quite well so far, but never say never because it doesn't close till Wednesday.
Yep, it's coming up. It's coming up. But hey, that's only a couple days away, so I'm sure that one
You're almost there. Yep.
will go through for you. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I hope so.
Nice.
Actually,
So,
this one went exceptionally well too. We wound up getting 40,000 over asking. We had 100 views for it the first weekend, so
oh, wow.
it couldn't have gone better, all things considered.
Yeah. How many total offers did you guys get on that one?
I actually had to start essentially cutting off non-competitive offers when we were approaching 18.
Oh, dang. That's a lot.
It was. It was a tremendous amount, and we had some very strong, and it wasn't even necessarily the highest, but when the quality is like better than the quantity of the offer, it gives you something to really think about. So as a first go around, this was an excellent time to get so many iterations of different agents' offers. I learned, I couldn't put a dollar sign on how much I've learned from this first time around.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, good for you. What kind of advice did you get like earlier this year when you started out?
The advice I always get is consistency, consistency, consistency.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. And you won't hear any shortage of that. And that I'm still waiting for it to come together. Like I understand the adage, and I understand the spirit of which it's given, because I have done sales jobs before. Like I did an internship as a financial advisor for a brief period, and as far as building trust with the public with some of the most sensitive information, which is their financial information and their financial capacity, it is a lot akin to being a financial advisor, in that you have to find a way to confidently prospect people, because if you can't show them that you're competent and you're like trustworthy, then there's no way you can kick off that relationship where you're getting their deepest, most secure financial information that a lot of their best friends don't even know. And you have to like put that out in the public and wield it like a weapon to try and secure the properties that you want to buy for them.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Where do you think you're going to be going in the next like 5 years? Do you have any goals in the next 5 years you want to accomplish?
To be honest, I just want to be secure as a financial advisor.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I want to be secure as a realtor, not as a financial advisor.
Yeah.
Goodness, no.
We know what you wanted.
Yeah, at this point, I just love, like, Eric from our brokerage. He'd made a comment early on. He's like, you're a little older, you've worked in some areas, you'll be surprised how many people come out of the woodwork that like are expecting, not expecting, but looking for trusted help. And he couldn't have been more right on that. Like, most of my referrals are from friends that I didn't even expect. Like the first house sale, my friends weren't even on the radar, and then they call me and they want to do a sell and a buy, and I was like, oh, I absolutely can help with that.
Yeah.
So in 5 years, my dream would be to be all referral business, but you can't underestimate, the power and reach of social media to try and like amplify whatever you're trying to do, whether it be to attract buyers or sellers, or if you want to go into like more of a commercial investing route. And that's kind of what I'd like to start learning more about, is more in depth about the investment potential, because it has given me such a powerful tool of independence that I would hope everybody is at least aware of it, in case they want to like get that kind of financial independence for themselves.
Yep. That's awesome. How many investment property? Do you just have one? You still renting out the one? Do you have another investment property? Do you plan on getting some more?
Yeah, we have two, and we literally started it. There isn't a more organic way than how we had started.
Yeah.
We'd inherited a nice home in Livonia. Unfortunately, my mom, we lost her from pancreatic cancer, so it was out of the blue, and it was short and violent when she left, unfortunately. But one of the silver linings is she had a really like nice but small, the home I grew up in, 1,100 square foot home in Livonia. And it's amazing, some of these properties with nice school districts, like it's almost insane how much how strong of a small business a single house can be when put in the proper hands and gone through like proper management, whether you're doing it yourself or going through property management. And our intention is absolutely to get a few more places and then hopefully to flip it into, there's these things called like 1031 exchanges you can do, which is like a powerful tool to like to delay the taxation and in some cases delay it in perpetuity. It's a powerful tool that you can use to lever your properties and turn them into like a small empire should you wish. But it all depends at how much responsibility you're willing to take on. Because at a certain point, if you just keep getting more and more rentals, then you're just becoming a collector of income and it's beyond your need. You know, you don't want to go live way beyond your means. I mean, that's a poor route for anyone to take.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Is there any how long did you get that rental? The first one? Was that last year or was it a couple years ago?
The first one I inherited in 2015 is when it was officially like activated.
Yeah.
And then our most recent rental we bought was in 2018 is when we deployed it.
Gotcha.
So late of 2018, I think it was active 2019 technically.
Gotcha. Okay, that's pretty cool. That's so you've been at it probably 5 years now then. So
yeah, our first rental we got about 6 years under our belt with it. And actually before that, I had rented out, like I bought my home in 2010. And back then I did what is now commonly referred to as house hacking. I had like my now wife, but just a girlfriend at the time, and 3 of my best friends, they would all stay at my house. And, you know, it was actually a really great way in your 20s to have unlimited socializing.
Yeah.
And also to essentially cover the bottom line of my house while still giving people a great deal and a place to live. So mutually, it was an awesome way to spend my 20s and help catapult my future, you know?
Yeah. Do you have any advice for anybody who is looking to get into investment properties? What's one piece of advice that you would give that person?
Well, the best piece of advice I've ever heard for any sort of investing is anytime you earn $1, give it the best job you could possibly imagine for it. And typically that, like for most people who aren't so familiar with real estate investing, it's usually in my stance, it's been buying a slice of an index fund, because you know you're technically buying a piece of one of the 500 or 3,000 strongest U.S. companies if you're doing like a total stock market index. But at a certain point, we realized, you know, especially from those who have survived through like 2020 and who survived through like the 2008 recessions and stuff, you'll realize the volatility of equities are unique, and there's a certain point when you want to put a few more eggs in that real estate basket. So I always think a great route for people: start by saving some into some index investments, and then when the opportunity presents itself, don't hesitate to liquefy some of those and turn them into real estate, because that's a great place for your money to sit. I mean, what's the one thing we can't manufacture in this world? And that's land, you know, and it's absolutely scarce and it's insanely durable. So I'm definitely deep in the camp of diversify, and that includes real estate holdings. And it's not limited to residential. Like my big thing I'm looking for now is some acreage up north in Michigan to be able to have fun on the land, hopefully enjoy some lakes, maybe try some hunting, do some hiking. And it's a great way to park some money for almost, in most cases, a slam dunk that its value will only go up due to inflation.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, for sure.
Nice. What's the best book that you've ever read?
The best book I've ever read?
Yeah.
Well, it's Jurassic Park, easy. But if we want to like keep it more in the spheres of like finance and understanding of more of this realm,
yeah.
I really liked The Millionaire Next Door. Probably was one of the strongest fundamental, like philosophical books as to how to live your life. And it's basically always live below your means, try to save what you can, and you'll never ever have to worry, because you know money is essentially just an increment of time in any given denomination. And if you're spending less time than you're accruing, then technically you're going to have as much time as you wish later on. And I think we all know, you know, Monday night quarterbacking, we all wish we had more time, you know, and we had spent our time more wisely. That book is a great tool to teach the common person who's making, like, let's put it like this: the common person who is, it's well within their capacity to make the amount of money that they speak in that book, it gives you a pretty good roadmap for how to live a comfortable and simple life. And not devout, like not substituting any experience either. You can still have a perfectly wonderful life trying not to buy stuff you can't afford to impress people you don't care about.
Yep, that's awesome. How can people get a hold of you?
I'm available. Actually, I'm available on Alex Marowsky Realtor. If you Facebook that, you'll find my page. I'm Alex at socialhousegroup.com. You'll see me on there. I also have like some Heinz Drive T-shirts that are for sale. Like I kind of started a little Heinz Drive brand that's for sale on Amazon. It's pretty neat. We have this wonderful park here, and nobody takes advantage of it. So I wanted to just find a way to promote it more and more. So I started making these little shirts, and we started handing them out to friends, and it's a good way. Go enjoy your park, and it's this jewel of like Wayne County that it's underappreciated. So I just started, I'm like, why not just promote it more so people use it and we pay more attention to it and hopefully push more resources towards it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So you can type in Heinz Drive shirt on Amazon, and that's like our clothing brand. You'll see it on there as well.
Nice. That's cool. Awesome. Is there anything else you want to share with everybody before we go?
I wanted to thank you guys because I must admit, Windowsill was, I can't put the entire seller's tailwind market for how well my first listing did. When we had Becca and Sam for Windowsill, and oh my goodness, it was like a line the length of waiting in line at the Raptor at like Cedar Point of people complimenting the photos you guys did. So I can't express enough how good of a job you guys are doing, and I love your show. I've actually become like a regular subscriber on it. I dig it. It's fun to listen to all these different walks of life.
Thank you. That's awesome. Well, hey, thanks for coming on and sharing your story with us today.
Hey, thank you guys for asking. I really appreciate it. Keep up the great work.
Thanks.
Are these working?
All right.
Here we go.
Oh, there we go. I think they're working. Should we tell them?
Mine keeps falling. It doesn't like my voice.
What do we got to tell them?
Subscribe.
Subscribe? What do we got to point at? Hey, I think there's a subscription button. Like
it might be there.
It might be right there too.
Somewhere.
Find
it. It's red.
Yeah. And it's blue. It's green. I don't really know.
It's a color.
This mic isn't even attached. Did you plug these in? Well, I guess.
I wonder if they can hear us.
Yeah, I wonder if they hear us. Well, we should probably tell them if they can hear us. We should probably tell them also give us a 5-star review for listening to on Apple. That'd be cool.
5 stars, guys.
Share it with everybody they can think of.
We won't take 4 stars.
I mean, Taylor, I don't even think these are on. I mean,
I don't think this is working.
This is not working.